You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals, funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Oh, I just realized there we go. Good morning, everybody. Hondo here alongside my partner in crime, the man who treats Red Future Screen like an invitation. BigBeat, Steve Moore. What's going on, Steve?
You know, Howard, you're absolutely right. We would say yesterday, don't be concerned about this run-up. Be happy, but let's be honest, it's going to happen. We know that there's a guy running around the world, and it's not good. The economy is not good, and so here we are. The run-up yesterday is already gone. So you know, I am buying to protect myself. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, the bounce we saw Monday didn't even make it to halftime. Futures are bleeding again this morning. Dow down about 275 points. S&P off nearly 1%, and the NASDAQ sliding close to 2% to the downside. The headline is read like a throwback to 2019. U.S.-China trade tensions back front and center, this time with a shipping twist, a little bit different. Both sides started charging new port fees on each other's cargo ships, and then Beijing went a step further, sanctioning 5 U.S. subsidiaries of South Korea's Hanwha Ocean. So yes, tariffs are back, ships cost more to dock, and traders are reaching for the Tums. Now, Steve, I know you love it when I say this. It's Tariff Tuesday.
So I was at the New York Stock Exchange all week last week. And, you know, for those of you who know, I do all those shows, and I totally enjoy. I love Schwab Network. Everybody knows that. I love NYSE TV. I love TheStreet.com. They're all. And as I'm walking through the floor, I see somebody who I know has been a hard hitter her whole life. It's Leslie Stahl from CBS, right? She does all these interviews, and she went to go see Aaron Sorkin, who was talking about his new book that came out today, which I bought, 1929. And he's saying it. He's saying exactly what I'm saying. A crash is coming. And she asked him.
I want to point. Whoa, we got to slow down. Slow that roll, mister.
Wait.
It's very clear that he wrote this book 8 years ago. It started.
He did.
It has nothing. It just happens to be good timing at where we're overblown. And he made it.
She asked him.
He is not.
She asked him, "Is a crash coming?" And he said yes.
Nah, he went back on it today. Then that's not what he said.
He did. All I can say is I heard him say it personally. I watched him in the interview. I watched him say it right in front of me, and there was no AI changing his voice or his thought process. He said yes. While I don't think a 1929's crash is coming, and I don't think he does either, he needed to clarify that, because we have things in place that slow that down, right? We have collars in place that if the market moves a certain percentage, and they'll turn it off and turn it back on and give people a pause, but these numbers are not matching the economy. I now am stopped on the road every single day. Steve, you're right. The economy is not as good as everybody says it is. That's right. It's not. Why is it that we see it before they see it, Howard? And I think the data tells us that, right? And when you take the data away and people can't see it, and all they're stuck with is some news or TikTok. I mean, the fact that people tell me that I get my news through TikTok, I want to go, seriously? Like, that's where you get your news from? Like, no wonder you don't know what's going on, right? And that's why you think the way that you do, right? You're being manipulated. Oh, no. Yeah, you are. You're being manipulated because you're manipulating yourself, right? Because if you're not able to see alternative opinions, and you and I, for the most part, Howard, agree on most things, but we disagree on some things, and that's what makes a market, right? That's what makes a market. You see something, I see something, we make decisions. I have a little bit more time, but the way you see it, I may not see it that way because maybe I'm wrong. Even in my old age here, I get it wrong, right? And all the time because I don't see the new way of economy. Maybe I missed that, right? But it works together. Whether I'm right or wrong, I still want to understand that. And Aaron Sorkin is saying that some of these things that happened in 1929 are coming around again, meaning that people are just saying that the world's hunky-dory, it's great. We got a Republican president who just gives things, I mean, tariffs was a big deal in 1928. It was the roaring 20s, right? And when we look at this now, the two things that got us out of this nonsense in 1929 and in 87, the big crash 87, is war.
Yeah. I mean, that is the case. I mean, as a quick snapshot, the S&P futures down about 63 points. VIX popping 14% to sit around 2170. Treasury yields holding just above 4% on the 10-year. This isn't a rates story today. It's geopolitical meets AI bubble angst. And who's bringing us lower? NVIDIA, AMD, both off around 2%. Tesla and Oracle down 3%. And even the semi-cap names that were running, Applied Materials, Lam Research, are seeing red. When the generals get hit, the troops scatter. And Friday's 800-point Dow drop still echoes. Traders are definitely jumpy. Now, Steve, I know you watch the breath every morning. 8 out of 11 S&P sectors in the red to pre-open. Defensive pockets like utilities and staples are holding a tiny bid, but it's a pure de-risking Tuesday. What are you seeing out there? What's interesting BigBeat today?
I'm reading some of the news this morning. A couple of pieces. I think I just put one up there. Fed's Bowman this morning is saying Fed is seeking input on requirements for stablecoin rules. Here's one that's very interesting. IMF official warning that diminishing trust in the central banks could lead to unanchored inflation expectations. What have we been talking about here? I can't tell you how long, how much we don't agree with the IMF and how much we don't agree with the Fed, because they are making very bad decisions. They've been wrong on bad data, on old data. So now they're having to defend themselves by talking about themselves and saying, hey, we actually matter. We actually matter. They do matter.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not surprising that they want to get their hands on stable coins because it diminishes their control. And it's being pushed by Jamie Morgan and the banks, who don't like the fact that people are choosing too quickly to partner with Circle and Figure and these other companies, and they missed their chance. Yeah, I mean, that's what we
exactly right. They missed their chance, right? They were the ones who were screaming and baiting on the desk saying, anybody here that trades crypto will fire them, right? I like Jimmy Dimon. Everybody knows that. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Dimon. I think he's made some very good, smart moves. And I think he understands it, but he missed it on the crypto space, right? He missed it because it wasn't his space. He didn't control that narrative. And now he's trying to control the narrative. It's like letting the cat out of the bag, and now I got to put the cat in the bag, and now I got to.
They're trying. There's a lot of talk in DC that the banking industry has spent a lot of money lobbying over the last few months to try to get changes already to the recently signed Genius Bill, because it did too much to help fintech, in their opinion. Steve, as you mentioned just a few seconds ago, trade wars are rebooted. Let's unpack this tariff mess because it's got a lot of layers. Starting at midnight, both the U.S. and China began charging airport fees on cargo ships. China went with 400 yuan per net ton, roughly $56 for U.S. vessels, while Washington imposed its own fee on Chinese ships docking here. Beijing conveniently exempted China-built vessels, of course they did, and then they sanctioned those Hanwha Ocean subsidiaries operating in the U.S., claiming they're helping U.S. probe into China shipbuilding. The result, Hanwha Ocean stock dropped over 8% in Seoul overnight. So the geopolitical backdrop here is worsening, and traders hate uncertainty more than they hate Mondays. If you're keeping score, Trump's still threatening 100% tariff on Chinese imports. China's expanding its rare earth export restrictions, and both sides are using shipping lanes as leverage. Now, Steve, here's what I want your take on. Is this just another tariff tantrum we'll forget in 2 weeks, or are we actually seeing a restart of the global trade risk?
I said this yesterday on the show that I think I'm gonna go eat Mexican tonight. Tacos, tacos, tacos. I'm gonna have like shrimp tacos. I'm gonna have meat tacos. I'm gonna chicken tacos. Look, you and I talked about this at the very beginning of the talk of tariffs. It has never worked. It will never work. It hasn't even shown to work in any way. Every tariff we have, we had to pull it off because we've made a mistake again, right? Tariffs don't work. And this is the hill that the president wants to die on. And it looks like he's dying on it because now he has the lowest approval rating in modern history now as a president. So, as in office. So, I guess Nixon was probably worse, but he was under indictment. I guess it's a matter of time here. But I'm not trying to be mean to the president. I like the Israel Hamas thing, but tariffs don't work. I don't know how else to say this. It's almost like legislating morality. You're not going to legislate morality to people. People are going to do whatever they want, right? We talk about tariffs. Okay, the American people love cheap TVs. Stop cheap TVs. Stop people liking cheap TVs, and they want to go to China. China clothes. I mean, even I've got some Chinese clothes. I think I accidentally bought something. I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice. Okay,
you have Nike. You do. You have Nike, so you do.
Right. I have a new pair of Nikes. I like them. I love them. They're made in China. Right. I mean, in Vietnam, this was where some of my furniture was made. That's what's happening, folks. And you can't do that to people. Oh, well, we're gonna be a manufacturing country again.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain the economy to people.
Now that I got you on the negative stage, I'm going to go contrarian on you here because you were not very positive. You were positive on the bigger banks, but you in general were negative on the banks. Banks saying things aren't that bad today.
All right, let's get to that.
Kickoff of Q3 earnings, and big banks are stealing the show this morning.
So what I said yesterday, and I can replay it. I think I have it ready to go if I need to. I said that big banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs,
I led with that, Steve. You said JP Morgan.
Okay, will do very well. They'll beat earnings because trading revenue and bond revenue.
You said they had lower goals, and they actually
they had lower. They did
lower goals.
They did beat the lower goals, and they beat on them.
Goals, and
what did I say, Howard? I said, and I'm right, that it's about guidance. And the guidance was well, things aren't that bad. They're bad, right? They're bad. They know it's coming down. They know it's bad, and that's why JP Morgan right now in the open will be down about 1%, right? They're going to.
I'll point out because it's one that I watch very closely. JP Morgan's. It usually goes down, even on a big beat. They do not seem to jump. There seems to be a higher expectation for them, and then the others that do it later do it. Just so we know the numbers, their EPS came in at 5.07 per share, revenue of 47.18 bill. Both topped estimates. Trading revenue hit a Q3 record of 8.98. Equities were up 33%, fixed income up 21%. So at least we are seeing people move towards fixed income.
Wait, exactly. Why are they moving to Why are they moving to the bond market? Because the world's not that good.
Yeah, no, we want to break it down again. We don't want to. We want to give people the info. And right. Jamie Dimon raised their net interest income forecast to $95.8 billion for the year. Said, "quote The economy remains resilient, but tariff, sticky inflation, and geopoliticals keep us on alert. In short, it's good to be the world's biggest bank." They did put aside more money for losses, but pointed out that they actually came in under expectations for this past quarter. The trading revenues were up. Investment banking was up. Most of the key metrics for JP Morgan were up. Makes sense, right? It's with a rich bank.
Well, I think the biggest question that I have is not the big banks. And I mentioned this yesterday on New York Stock Exchange TV. I said that my concern is about regional banks. And one of them, I just looked over at RF, which is Regions Financial. That's one of the better regional banks. The regional in the word, is down pretty substantially. Down almost, it was down like 2% here this morning. 1.33%. All of the runs from yesterday. Yeah, the banking industry is in trouble right now, and they know that, especially smaller banks, the banks that don't have trading revenue. Trading revenue was the key. I said that would save the bigger banks, but that's about it.
Well, not Goldman Sachs. They have their EPS coming at 12.25, revenue at 15.2, killing estimates by a mile. And their biggest was investment banking surged 42%. Advisory fees up 60%. For them, trading was only up 12%. So they bucked that trend you just talked about, and they're now on their pace for their best year ever.
James is saying now here that it's not about bringing back manufacturing for us to work in factories. It's about being able to create process rare earth semi-chips here, so we aren't dependent on foreign communist countries that is vying with us for world power, and at some point going forward may be very much less friendly. Who cares about cheap goods in the short term? And as always, love hearing both sides argue. Great show, gentlemen. Thank you, James. No, James is right. Look, I understand the president's point that he wants to bring manufacturing back to the United States so that we aren't dependent on communist countries, right? But the problem is not that we're dependent on China for rare earths. We know that. We know that they're a communist country. We understand that. But it is the ethos of the world that we live in, right? What do I mean by that? I will take you back to 1962. All right. When we started to work in oil markets, right? The Saudis have lots of oil. The United States of America, and I know people don't want to hear this, we have more oil than the Saudi Arabia does. Oh, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is. The Ghawar oil field in Saudi Arabia is running out of oil. All right. I'm going to take you back to 1962. I'm going to take you back to OPEC. I'm going to take you back to the countries. Why were we buying oil in Saudi Arabia and in the underlying countries? Because it's cheaper to drill a hole in sand than it is to drill a hole in fracking or drilling a hole in Texas. It's just easier, right? And so drilling it and shipping it is cheaper. So we as the United States said, hey, let's go buy cheap oil from them, take all their oil. And at that time, Saudi Arabia was not friendly to the United States. They were very unfriendly to the United States. But we knew it, and we went over there. Small companies very small companies like Halliburton, now big companies. Small companies like ExxonMobil, small companies, now big companies. Chevron, Shell. These weren't large companies in the 20s and 30s and 40s. They weren't even companies, right? Standard Oil Company was the biggest oil company in the world. They weren't even around. Think of it now. Now let's fast forward. During the dot-com bubble, Amazon, those companies weren't even around. What am I saying? When we went over there and took their cheap oil, now they've got to eventually they'll come over here. In our country, when we dug for oil, we found oil, put a nice little bow on it, put a number on it, and let it away. We've got thousands upon thousands upon thousands of oil wells that aren't even being touched right now because we don't need to. We had so much oil, it's not even funny. We don't want to touch our oil. When oil goes to $500 a barrel, then we'll sell them our oil, right? That's the ethos of what the thought process is, right? The same thought process is that thought process has also been in manufacturing. We would rather buy the cheap rare earths from them, scrape their land, and then when we have our rare earths, which we do, we'll use them later. And we have them, and we will have them in 2060, 2070, 2080, when they don't have any more rare earths because we've already used them up. And we're still the strongest nation in the world. That's the ethos, the thought process behind the United States government for many, many, many decades. To move us back to manufacturing is very expensive. And we don't have the manpower, shall we say, I don't want to say manpower, women power too, to be able to handle that. We have already moved to a services industry country. That's who we are as a country. Do we want to manufacture everything overseas? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous, right? But how do we move that? Do we make Intel you want to be a better country? Make a better product. That's what I'm saying. And when you make a better product, like AI, guess where they're going to? The United States of America, right? So that's why I'm saying we can't be a manufacturing country right now. I wish we could. I'm from Southern Illinois. Everybody knows that. I'm from the Midwest. I'm excited about that, but it ain't coming back. I was reading articles over the weekend and again this morning. Do you know what the biggest industry right now in the Midwest is? And I actually watch them now. It's auctions of older farming equipment. And these farm equipment auctions are now at the highest rate in history. Meaning they're not buying new John Deere tractors, which would pretend to be the manufacturing of new John Deere tractors or Massey Ferguson tractors, right? They're not. It's the ones that have been slightly used. Those auctions are huge right now because farmers can afford them. You want to make us a better country? Protect our farmers. Don't be selling our soybeans away. Right? That's the difference. That tariff is costing the United States farmer $80 billion now. And the president's going to give him $10 billion. That's a problem. Right? So that's why I'm saying we've got a problem. And that's why the economy, and now I think people are waking up and seeing the stock market and going, that's I'll get off my soapbox. But I think that's, hopefully, James, I hope that answers some of your questions and my thought process behind that.
I don't know where to jump in because you just went across.
I love this. I love it.
So I guess on the oil side, the IEA did drop its monthly report flagging a higher oil surplus heading into the year. And why is that? OPEC Plus is increasing output and demand expectations are trimmed slightly still again with trade tensions. WTI down about 2%, trading near $58 a barrel, a 5-month low. Brent around 62. So Steve, you just mentioned it. It's, we're seeing that risk off flow shift from oil to gold and silver, right? This is all happening while gold and silver hit record highs early today. Gold around 41.45, silver near 50.50. Oh, wow. Both looking technically overbought with RS readings north of 70, but they don't care. They're trading like crypto in the good days.
Right. No, I like the old adage, buy low, sell high. I like buying oil down here. This is when oil gets really freaky, gets weird. Look, I own oil wells. I understand the oil market very well. And I will tell you that $58 a barrel, they're not happy. I get the phone calls all the time. It costs more to pump it. So guess what? Buy cheap oil in Saudi Arabia. And they're right. So I'm a buyer of oil down here. I like oil, but the problem with me with oil that I'm really having a hard time. Real quickly, Madagascar, the country of Madagascar, we're hearing reports that the lawmakers there have voted in favor of impeaching their president, and the army has taken over the country of Madagascar. We're hearing that right now. So, wow. We're going to see a lot more of that in smaller countries. I think you're going to see that as the destabilization of the world is happening all over the world. All right, so let's get back to oil. I'm still having a hard time with buying oil. I am starting to buy oil companies, but I'm having a problem. So what am I buying, Howard? I did it yesterday. I did it on Friday, and I did it on it's materials. I think I made that very clear. I'm buying materials because inflation is still sticky. You heard that from JP Morgan. You heard that from just about everybody, including the Fed again, saying that it's sticky. I'm buying materials. So that's where we're at right now. I'm buying materials.
Okay. We are about 5 minutes from the open, tick negative slightly here, about 150. Advanced decline is negative 27.63. And again, all the major indices looking to open on the downside. As to what you said about manufacturing and what James said, another thing I wanted to bring up where he's echoing what he said, it's about supply chain more than manufacturing. We need to get the supply chain.
We don't have it yet.
Certain important things back out of China's hands and into friendly, either our hands or into at least friendly countries in Europe and other places. For it is my takeaway more so than manufacturing. I think the word manufacturing gets thrown around to mean anything that is going to be built anywhere, and whatever it is. And there's a big difference. And there are still a lot of people who want to be miners and work in those fields and oil fields. And, those wildcatters love that stuff. So there is an appetite for that profession there. So let's take a little detour to Detroit, Steve. We don't talk about there much. Let's shift to autos. because GM dropped a bit of a bombshell in an SEC filing this morning. They're taking
Aluminum.
a $1.6 billion Q3 charge tied to their electrical vehicle program.
Yeah.
1.2 billion is non-cash write-downs. 400 million is cash cost for canceled contracts and settlements. Basically, they overbuilt for demand that never showed up. And with the end of the federal $7,500 EV credits under the new administration, the math doesn't pencil anymore, Steve. They're reassessing EV capacity and say more chargers may come. It's deja vu. Remember Ford's 1.9 billion hit last year?
I do. I do. Yeah. And I'll tell you, it's not just them. It's also aluminum issues with Ford, and there's a lot of problems here, folks. There's a lot of problems. EV credits going away. I was just at the BMW dealership yesterday, and it was quiet. It's like a church mouse in there. That's not normal. I live in an area where there's a lot of buyers of BMWs. I don't know how to tell people this. The economy is not good. I don't know how to tell you.
Yeah, we got EVs slowing. New car prices are topping 50K average. That just blows my mind. And subprime auto delinquencies are climbing towards 6.5%, near record highs. Does this mark a pause on the EV revolution, Steve, or is this just another cyclical reset before the next boom?
That's a very good question. I have a good friend of mine. He has a rule. I won't say his name or where he works, but he has a rule. He doesn't invest in cars. Doesn't invest in airplanes. He just doesn't. Those two, whether that's a United Airlines or Delta or Boeing or car like Tesla, he doesn't do it because it's so cyclical and it's not the economy is not straightforward, right? It's not left or right. It's all over the map. And I always kind of like laugh at him, like, why you do that, right? And he's right. I mean, he's like, why should I put risk on that? I don't need to risk, right? Yeah. So I understand that. And I will say during the COVID that you and I both talked about it. We invested in Ford when Ford went way cheap, because it was underneath the costs, right? This isn't the Ford of your daddy and grandpa's company. This isn't the General Motors of your daddy and your grandpa who are building cars up in Detroit. If you ever go to Detroit, you can't miss it. The big three stacks, General Motors has the big glass building and Ford right there, then right in front of their golf course, and the Ford family still pretty much is there. And the innovation in automobiles has been very good over the years. Safety, Ralph Nader, and the airbags and things of that nature. Guys, I'm going to be shorting Tesla here. I just don't like this run here.
We are open, by the way. I will get the screen up here for everybody.
I might have made a mistake here, but I really think
First
that
moves to the downside on the Qs. Steve is shorting Tesla again. It is just dropped below VWAP there. All of the Mag 7 move to the downside here.
Oh, wow. We are really moving out to the downside here. Okay. All right.
Tesla dropping down 423.90 here. So moving to the downside from Mr. Steve.
Oh. And I just took that profit there and ran. It was way too easy, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I'm going to try this again here as they're trying to push it up a little bit.
Big pullback on silver here, Steve, down 3.2%.
Yeah, I mean, we heard from Peter talking about, oh, wow.
Tick still negative 300 here, still
And
moving in
I
the
can't
wrong
move
direction.
fast enough here. I just can't move fast enough here.
VIX up another 14.5% again, 2178.
So I think I'm actually going to go long Tesla now.
At 15, going long Tesla now. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Yep. Yep. I think the
It broke through VWAP to the upside.
And
just seeing the data. Not let's put this here.
uh-oh.
Data not expected to be released. This is from Bloomberg. Consumer Price Index, Producer Price Index, Jobless Claims, Retail Sales, Import-Export Price Index. All of those now expected not to happen. Uncertain on the energy reports. And what we are likely to see released, I'll put these in there too, are the Beige Book, the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index, and from the WASDE report from the Department of Agriculture. So looks like that CPI data they said might come out is now not likely to happen. Those are the things that they are looking. Ooh, Tesla to the downside a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit nervous here. I did go the wrong way here.
Sell-off continues on JP Morgan here, down 2.43%. Moving to the downside, same thing. Goldman Sachs pulled back a 3.55%. Steve, is there a spot you buy the banks today?
Nope, not at all. I wouldn't touch the banks at all. I'm staying completely away from them.
And
I just bought more Tesla here, I think.
Okay. We look at the indices. We see that only consumer staples up a 0.25 percentage point. Everything else in the red so far. Technology down the most, 1.7, followed by consumer discretionary at 1.44 down. Seeing that Amazon, it looks like, just broke below its 200-day MA, trying to bet back to it, but looks like it might lose it here. That is interesting to watch.
Yes, it's very interesting here.
Tesla bouncing back a little bit, 422.50 here. When it comes to the Mag 7, big loser today, NVIDIA down 3.55%, completely erasing yesterday's gains, now back down to where we were basically last Monday. So, or last Monday of September, excuse me. So NVIDIA pulling back towards the 50-day MA here. That supports at 179.41. You drop below that and you've got some serious downside here in NVIDIA right now. Apple, as I said, also now down almost a 0.5 percentage point here, holding up a little better than the others in the Mag 7. Microsoft down 1.24% here. Google, which had been on fire recently, down about 1% here. You can see still firmly in the linear regression. We talked about Amazon. Meta.
Yeah, I mean, for me saying that the world is not good, and here I am trying to buy, it's,
yeah, you should have stayed on the short side there. Unfortunately, it happens.
I mean, I'm right. I'm right about the world. I think that we're not good, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to catch any nods on either. I'm buying dips on crypto. I do think we might hit 108 again. If we hit 108, I'll be a buyer in that zone on Bitcoin. Ethereum here, right? Ethereum's holding up a little bit better because the other problem is, Steve, like you just said, across the stock market in crypto, the long-short ratios are still extremely long, and they got longer over the last 24 hours. So it is a very crowded trade to the long side, which means if it does work, then the short's got to cover and then, watch out above. But it's not a structure you want to be trying to push into that. right? Well, that path of least resistance right now is to the downside. It's easy to make folks capitulate after Friday's drop, in my personal opinion. Tesla's key spot it has to hold is that 413.25 area here.
This is a very weak market here.
Yeah, listen, you gave all the reasons. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not liking this market.
And I think that folks didn't realize that all that data wasn't coming out, because it does seem like the market dropped right after Bloomberg put that stuff out. I think that, again, I think investors keep their heads sometimes, unfortunately, in the sand instead of above in the sky, watching Quasar with us, where we tell you what's coming and what is going on. And now they're realizing a lot of this stuff. And I think they thought the taco would already be out, I think that they didn't have any faith. I also have seen a couple of rumors, and I saw that Bibi did not go to Egypt to attend those, peace agreements, and rumors out there that maybe it hasn't been signed. I hope that.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then
this very false.
I mean, you can't trust Bibi. I mean, just be honest. You just can't trust the guy.
I haven't met a politician I trust yet, so that doesn't surprise me. And I've met a lot.
Yes, we have.
AMD holding up here, actually up almost a percentage point here, Steve. So I didn't know. So let's talk about some things that are moving up. There aren't many of them, but AMD up about 1% here. ARM holding up about 1.31% when it comes to the chip sector. On the bank sectors, Wells Fargo up about 3.6% after they finished their quarterly earnings. They came in with a top line revenue of $5.59 billion, EPS $1.66 a share, exceeding expectations. So Wells Fargo, Steve, that's the one you were the least positive on. Myself also, the one that's actually moving to the upside. So there you go.
Agreed. We are seeing a little bit of positivity in the Qs, and Tesla pushing up a little bit here. So maybe I'm okay here.
We do have Powell speaking at 11:20 today, so keep that in mind. Can we get a Powell put going today, Steve?
I don't know. I mean, I downloaded something that
the market. Is he going to come in and save the day?
I don't know. I downloaded Kalshi yesterday into my phone. I didn't think I was going to.
Whoa! I'm for informational purposes only, right?
Right, only for informational purposes only.
Steve, if you taco on that, I'm calling you the taco man.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to use. I'm not.
You have been the most negative person I know on prediction markets.
Still am. But I still want to know what people are saying. I always want
that. I expect you to open your 50x leverage account on FIA.
Negative Ghost Rider. That will never
happen. That are going to happen. And I don't know. I'm making you. If you start trading on prediction models on Kalshi, then you will be opening a FEMEX account and handing Aaron Schurz the keys to the wallet.
Negative Ghost Rider. That will not happen. I do want to make sure that I understand the Kalshi.
Hey, listen, you got to watch it. You know that you get mad at me. I watch all of that stuff because it is part of the days. I watch what's going on in zero DT.
No, I don't disagree with the
watching. Like them. You got to know what is happening out there. And prediction markets have. And your trading advice, and we talked about it. You were already negative on DraftKings, DKS, right? Not DKS. I always get that wrong.
DKNG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says we are just starting to tokenize all assets, including real estate, stocks, and bonds.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen. And what we also talked about, what's hurting DraftKings, which continues to slide, is those prediction companies. Robinhood providing prediction results or the ability to do prediction markets there.
I mean, we're going to a gambling mentality here, and I hate that. Right? This is not what we should do as a country. But
that's gambling sites versus gambling sites. In other words, if you were using DraftKings to make your sports wager, what they've done is, It's funny, they've gamified it more and they've made it easier for the person who doesn't know sports. Do you think this team's going to win? Yes or no? And people like that better than trying to figure out point spreads and all those other things. So that it just seems to be the flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Tick still negative here. Q's down 1.81%, dropping unfortunately to lows of the day. Same thing with the SPY. We're not seeing a bounce back yet. Same thing with the Dow Jones. All of them right at lows of the day. Mag 7, we now see NVIDIA down more than 4% here, bouncing right at the 50-day MA. If it doesn't hold that, watch out.
I'm actually going to do something very interesting here. I am going to be buying some Bitcoin down here.
There you go. I'll go to that. I like it at 110. Well, it could hold it 1 second before. Yeah. Give me 1 second because I broke down all the levels earlier that matter.
I'm not liking this move on Tesla here at all. Oof. And I've just bought some Bitcoin here. And I don't know why I couldn't.
If it drops below 110, 100, it's going to go to 108. So that's where you want to be.
Yeah, I think we're going to hold here. I think that the person shorting, I think, is going to pull up. He pulled up last time here. I think it's where he stops again. Ouch.
And what Steve is talking about is, although he claims it's a client's money, he has admitted it is his account. The CEO, formerly of forex, a company that was shut down for fraud, Chinese national, is the man behind these huge shorts and who basically manipulated oracles on Binance, the world's largest exchange, to execute his strategy. Took advantage of 3 tokens that were going through maintenance, shorted directly at the time, somehow had inside information about when Binance was going to make that move exactly, because they had only given a 1-week window that it would happen in. So something like this did not happen. Minutes before it happened, he put his short in. It caused a drop on the stable coin that is the most widely used outside of Tether on Binance to drop its peg to 65 cents. On no other exchange did it drop anywhere near that level. That was being used for margin across a wide swath of perpetual futures, causing a massive liquidation. Solana dropped to $34.
There you go, 111 on Bitcoin. I had a feeling that was where it was at.
And Binance has announced they are going to refund customers $283 million for their losses based upon the issues that they had on the exchange. So it's a big deal, right back above 111 here. So I will say, it's going to be a rocky road for crypto in general. It's not going to be a straight shot up or a straight shot down. So there'll be lots of levels to play here.
I think the president's probably watching the markets and realizing maybe he needs to say something. So,
well, that's not how it works. Scott Bessent goes and knocks on his door and says, "Hey there, red guy, look what you did again. Let's try to stop this."
Yeah.
He seems to be the voice of reason that keeps storming in there, and when he's done, convinces the president. So it's good we have him in there.
Yes, agreed.
NVIDIA did bounce off that 50-day MA there, so that's the first sign of solid.
111.3, baby. Look at that on Bitcoin. All right. Nice. I had a feeling that was where it was at, Howard.
Nice little squeeze to the upside there. Got to break across VWAP at 112.
We do, yeah. We still got. I mean, it's still we're not out of the woods yet.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, it's don't
But
clap
as everybody knows, I scale in,
you're
I
a
scale
long-term
out.
holder. This, you're making a good long-term buy any way you look at it. When it hits 135 and you sell this, you're not going to care if you bought it at 110 or at 108. It's just a matter of we're not.
Yeah, I'm shooting for 125 again. I think that's where we're going again. For most people, they'll know that the money that I'm putting back in is the money that I took off of the profit from that nice run from what was it, 108, I guess.
108,
yeah. To 120, some 125 and a half. I think is where I got out. I'd like to see Tesla push back up here. I think we can, but the market seems to be a little bit weak today.
I was about to say my scare is more that it might temporarily move a little bit here, but the market does not seem to be buying.
The market is not a happy camper today.
And again, listen, hey, Powell put, he's done it before. He can do it again. Let's get ready for the purple tie guy.
Wow, total spot Bitcoin ETF trading volume has exceeded $1 billion in the first 10 minutes of today's cash session here. Whew. Good God, that's a lot.
Yeah, I have it down 4%. So we are seeing panic in the streets. And that's not, part of that, again, remember, is people who put orders in, they don't basically accept the orders and change and reshuffle until 9:30 comes.
Right.
So when Bitcoin moves tremendously one way or the other overnight, that adjustment has to happen at the time.
Reports that the conservative Republicans will focus on cutting spending during the budget talks. I think it's good. It's good. They should take this time. If you're going to shut the government down, talk about spending cuts. All right, get it done. Do what you say you're going to do. Do it. Don't talk about it. Do it. I agree with the Republicans on this.
Yeah, you need spending cuts. You need to get the deficit down. That's for sure. Nvidia now back down 4%. Harris still moving to the downside, man.
Tesla's trying here. There's 420.
Tick's pretty positive, 445 here. Advanced declines minus 4,000. Got as low as minus 48, so it is moving back to the
Intel
upside.
now down almost 6%. Is it 6% now? Oof.
On what?
Intel.
Oh.
Intel is down 6.3%.
Yeah, 6.21. Wow. Wow. USA rare earth was up tremendously in the pre-market here, now down 6.7%. So that trade turning around again, a huge amount of companies that were up tremendously in the pre-market now moving to the downside. USAR, BITF, IREN, TMC, CIFR, INOD, all moving to the downside now. So huge reversals on those. Continuing to the upside, though, Critical Metal Corp seems to be today's MP, up 21.13%. Ericsson, I did have notes there, Steve. We sort of got away from Ericsson on their earnings and forward guidance. Nicely up here, 16.4%.
Bitcoin slipping again. I don't know. It just seems to be weak right now. Something's spooked the markets a bit.
Yeah, there's no data coming that they all thought was going to come. And they realized that Taco didn't taco yet. And even if he tacos, China doesn't seem like that's going to be enough. They want to put their foot on his throat. Yep. So this is meant for long-term, some situations there. DXY sort of flat when you really look at it. It is exactly flat on the day. Thought we'd see a little bit maybe of a move there. Gold moves back to the upside, 41.18. So now starting to, not really rejected right at VWAP. And silver starting to find a bottom. So it looks like the search to safety is starting to pick back up. And again, VIX, I can't say it more, 22.55, up 18.56%. We were telling you to buy it at 15.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't if you're in the VIX trade, I would not be out of it. That thing's up 8% right now. I mean, I would not be selling any of that. This volatility is out of okay. All right, Mr. Tesla.
Yeah, bounced by NVIDIA too, so maybe we do start to see it tick picking up 681. So right at 950, when those first sort of algos kick off, doesn't look like retail stepping in to say we want to buy the dip. Let's see what they get. Steve, your yen starting to pick up a little bit, 151.88.
Yeah, I'm excited about bit yen. 121 here now on. I'm excited here about Tesla. There we go, Tesla 421 now.
There's the bounce.
Give me a little bit more bounce there, baby.
They look like they want to. That and NVIDIA both trying to move a little to the upside here. Tick up 548. Q is bouncing nicely to the upside. Here we go. VWAP, challenging VWAP here. Bulls are trying to take control. Can they get the market? Bitcoin back at 111 for you, Steve. So there you go.
422 now on Bitcoin, on Tesla. I'm sorry, Tesla.
Q's pushing here, pushing against VWAP right now. A little pop here. You could see a natural pop right up to about 595.04. Same thing. If Steve can break 422.65 here, watch for a quick run up towards 424.
I think there's some serious trading going on today.
Yeah, it does look like it. That VWAP has got knocked down a couple of times across things I've been watching here so far. Let's see if anything can break through it. But that seems to be it. Looks like Microsoft trying to. Seems funny that we haven't gotten any Amazon Prime Day numbers yet, doesn't it, Steve? Don't they usually come out pretty quick?
I think they're waiting on.
Earnings?
Okay, come on, Tesla. Come on, Tesla. Come on. Let's see this run here a little bit as it ticks up 838 right now.
That's what I said. Buyers definitely coming back in. Advanced decline has jumped up about 1,000 to 33.29 on the downside still, but much better than it was. And we see all three indices moving back at least into a better position here. The rut down 74 basis points. So small caps, what's funny is the small caps and tech leading the way. You don't see that very often on the rebound.
Fink on Larry Fink says that capital spent on AI is mostly well spent. That's interesting.
Palantir down about 2% here. UiPath down 4% here. Wow. Zscaler down 2.94% also. Pumpers so far today, CRML, Critical Metal Corp, as I said, doing the MP today, up about 26.12%. Navitas Semiconductor up about 18.71%, but pulling off of its highs. Ericsson up 16% so far after strong earnings. D-Local, the Chinese quantum computer name, up about 8% here today. So some of the Chinese names, we talked about Wells Fargo with their positive earnings, but they are off of highs of the day, up about 3.45% though. When it comes to the chip sector, ARM, one of the strongest out there, or the strongest, up 3.29% and looking to break out to the upside. I didn't think I saw any real news on ARM. You don't really. I guess yesterday, OpenAI is working with SoftBank's ARM on Broadcom AI chip efforts. So maybe that is what has them moving today. Ten-year back below 4.04 at 4.038 here. So good to see that down about a half a percentage point there. Gold continuing to move to the upside here, back trying to challenge 41.20. Same thing, silver back above 51 here and moving to the upside.
Damn, look at Tesla just dropping there. This is crazy moves here. Tick just dropped. Everything just dropped.
Metals moving to the upside. That's what's getting the money right now. Tick is still positive, though, so it's going flowing somewhere into stocks. And it's actually the small caps that are moving back to the upside. Nice little move to the upside here.
This volume is just nutty.
Q's trying to stay above the VWAP here, so important time to see here. That would be the spot we need to get across. Apple, nice little recovery here. Domino's up 2% here, Steve, on their earnings report today. Strong forward guidance. So pizza's in the news.
Yeah, I mean, I said that's what happens. People eat pizza when it's bad, and people eat pizza when it's good. Not in the middle. It's like beer and pizza, you know.
Yep, they delivered another strong quarter. Revenue was up 6%. Their U.S. same-store sales was up 5.2%, and they declared a $1.74 dividend. So, nice day for those of you in DPZ here. Nice move to the upside, you can see.
This is a weird day here, guys. I don't know what's going on here. There's just something. I can't tell if it's institutions moving money around here or retail's getting scared, finally.
Yeah, maybe they're listening. That would be what I would guess, but I don't know if that is the actual.
I don't know. I think that the path of least resistance today is just the upside.
You would think we're getting towards that bottom, yes.
I think so. Yes, it's chilled out a bit here.
Starting to.
Yeah, waiting on that 10 o'clock hour, maybe.
Yeah, we are. We're there. We're at 10. Okay, we'll take it away here, Steve. You know, do you think we now see a little bit of a melt up today, or what are you looking for today?
Yeah, I think there's a melt up today. I think the selling is done. To be honest with you, I think it's just bounced from Friday to Monday to now, and we're starting to chill out a bit. I think we need more news. I think we need more information before we can make some bigger decisions. But yeah, I think this is it. 10 o'clock. Here we are, baby. Close this out.
Absolutely. Okay, everybody. Have a fantastic day. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow. Hondo and Big Beat ready to guide you in your trading days.